千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I would like to extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now, to be fully present and mindfully aware as we all ready ourselves for this sacred process in the Tao with one another. It is also a primal state. It is our beginning. So at rest, an infant has no distracting thoughts, no worries, and this is important in consideration to the outer lines in the 6 questions. The relaxed softness is the state, as I mentioned, of primal power. How so? Well, it is the purest state of rest, as well as the most powerful state, like Wu Wei. The baby embodies unlimited potential and possibilities. The potential to become any kind of person, to do anything. So this is like wood. Before a piece of wood, before you work on it, it has the potential to become anything. That's powerful. So the baby is like that, a primal state of the ultimate power. Now, the baby or the infant is actually a concept that is repeated multiple times in the Tao Te Ching. So I want to take a moment to show everyone where those iterations or repetitions are. So this is chapter 10. This is the first iteration of infant. And this chapter talks about being as soft as an infant. If we go forward 10 more chapters, get to chapter 20, we see this. 2 lines from chapter 20. This is Lao Tzu speaking. Lao Tzu says, I alone am quiet and uninvolved, like an infant not yet smiling. Infant not yet smiling, what does that mean? This reference is specifically about the state of purity in a Tao cultivator. It is the way that Lao Tzu describes himself to compare and contrast him with most people, because most people, not knowing, understanding the Tao, have drifted away from their own original nature, their own state of purity. They've been too immersed in the material world. So Lao Tzu says, well, that's what I don't want to be, and that's what I am not. Instead of being immersed and potentially tainted by the material world, Lao Tzu says, I'm not involved with all that. I'm like the original state, like an infant. And then moving forward another 8 chapters, we get to 28. Here, we get another 2 lines about the infant. The eternal virtue does not depart, return to the state of the infant. Here, Lao Tzu is emphasizing the goal, that one of the goals of Tao cultivation is to return to that state. Now, he's specifically not talking about being helpless like an infant, sleeping all the time. He's talking about the mental state prior to the influence of all the toxic elements in this world of ours. Let me give you some examples. Think about the people around you. They have different personalities, different temperaments. So you know that among them, there are some who have become rather cynical. I think you know what I mean. The people who often say, "Oh, well," and shrug. The people who often express frustration or resignation. Their thinking is more like, "What's the use?" or "What's the point?" Do you know people like that? I definitely do. More than one person. And if you do know people like that, you also know others who are the complementary opposite. Being cynical and resigned, that's not the only way, of course, to be human and the only way to live. The complementary opposite of that would be the people who always have a sparkle in their eyes. They have a ready smile. They are upbeat, cheerful. They're not cynical. Instead of, "Oh, well," they say, "Oh, wow," with a sense of wonder and delight. Instead of, "What's the use?" or "What's the point?" they say, "What's it about?" with a sense of curiosity and exploration. That is really what Lao Tzu is trying to say. Return to the state of the infant before the negative, cynical influence of the material world, when you still had a sense of wonder, when you can take delight in the simple little things in life. How great would that be? What a worthwhile goal that can be for all of us. Then we go forward to chapter 55. Here we have two lines that speak to being the infant. Those who hold an abundance of virtue are similar to newborn infants. The first thing that I want you to notice with chapter 55 is that when you look at the characters, they are not the same as 婴儿, which are the two characters used in 28, 20, and also in chapter 10. So even though the characters are different, it is a synonym. The meaning is the same, so the translation is the same. This particular chapter, 55, it goes on further to talk about the state of the infant. And it says specifically, addressing the softness of the infant, it says, "Their bones are weak, tendons are soft, but their grasp is firm." So bones are weak, tendons are soft, directly maps to the softness of the infant that we're talking about in this chapter. And then Lao Tzu says, "Their grasp is firm." That directly maps to what we have here about holding on to embracing oneness without straying. So a lot of times, these connections across chapters are not easy to see, so I am especially glad to point them out for you. In 55, Lao Tzu also says these babies, they can cry the whole day and yet not be hoarse due to the optimum of harmony. So what is this? What does this map to in our current chapter? All the way from 55 to chapter 10. It maps to the concentration of energy Think about the concentration of energy when a baby cries. And relaxed softness. The baby is not hoarse due to that relaxed softness leading to the optimum of harmony. So you see, everything makes sense. They make sense together. And once I point out the connections, it seems like the most obvious connection in the world. So let's summarize what we have talked about. Today, in Chapter 10, it is all about turning your focus inward. So the 3 parts that we have discussed. Number 1, hold the soul, embrace the oneness. As you heard, the oneness, the unity, is synonymous with the Tao. So to embrace oneness is to embrace the Tao, which also implies the principles of the Tao, staying on the path. And we want to be consistent in doing so. And that's the part that says, hey, don't stray away. This is what leads to harmony, the consistency of the practice. Number 2, concentrate your energy and relax. This is all about the flow of the internal energy, the breath, controlling the breath, leveraging the breath to help you to become as soft and supple, as relaxed as an infant. And as we will see next time, this has implications not just in meditation, but also Tao cultivation, as well as living one's life. But moving on for now, number 3 is cleanse the worldly view. This means turning away from the colorful distractions of the material world. This is what will take us back to the purity of our original nature. So there's a lot more to talk about. In the 6 questions, we have completed the 3 that are inwardly directed. We still must talk about the other 3 questions to form the whole set. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.